Kendrick Perkins decided that he was ready to jump out the window and say something absolutely crazy. And as I was listening to him, I began to think about a text message Stephen A. Smith read on ESPN First Take last year, where they were discussing this topic of, is Stephen Curry better than Magic Johnson? It was such a contentious point that it caused Michael Jordan, who never says anything, comments on anything, to go out there and send Stephen A. Smith a tweet that he requested that he read on air in response to the blatant disrespect towards his era and players from his era, and in this particular case, Magic Johnson. So for those of you who don't remember what that segment was about and what Michael Jordan ultimately said, want to play what Jordan said there, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to that there.
Magic Johnson is the only player who I've seen, there's only 2 or 3 of them, who could dominate a game at that position without putting the ball in the basket. Curry doesn't score, he's not a factor. Magic can go in there, take 2 shots, and dominate a game. His rebounding, his passing, his fast break ability. Magic, he's 6'8". Magic Johnson, and I love Curry. And we all know he's a wonderful shooter, but he is not Magic Johnson. I'm sorry. He's not in the same discussion. That is blasphemy to put him in Magic Johnson's category. Magic Johnson? Magic Johnson, you could argue, is a top 3-4 player in the history of the National Basketball Association. Magic Johnson, and again, what is the definition of a point guard? You know what the definition? Bob Cousy always used to say this, the great Bob Cousy. When you cross midcourt, your first objective is to get a teammate a good shot. Magic Johnson, when he crossed midcourt, his first objective was to get a teammate a good shot. Curry, in a lot of ways, his first objective is what 35-footer I can make. And that's nothing wrong with that. But that's different than being a point guard. Magic's job is to be a point guard. And one other thing. Running a fast break, it's not even discussable. Curry, nobody, and I watched this since 1960s, nobody ran a fast break in the NBA at that position better than him. And
better than Magic.
He rebounded the ball. He's 6'8". Not 6'2". He is 6'8".
Magic?
Magic.
6'9".
So even better. Thank you, Steve. You helped my argument. Listen, I love Curry, not as much as he does, as we know, but there is nobody in the history of the NBA who is a better point guard. And he won 5 championships. And a college championship than Magic Johnson.
Okay, let me say this, because we've made news because we had a list, and I talked about Steph Curry, maybe the greatest point guard ever, and all of this other stuff, okay? This is not a debate. But before I do, I have to read you a text that I received this morning at 5:54 a.m. Good morning, sir. Although greatest of anything is always a debate, I beg to differ on greatest point guard of all time with what you said. Magic Johnson is easily the best point guard of all time. Steph Curry is very close, but not in front of Magic. You must define point guard to really have a serious debate. Steph Curry is by far the best shooter of all time. Yes, his movement has created many shots for his teammates. He's a career 43% three-point shooter. But Magic Johnson invented the triple-double. Not true invented, but makes it more noticeable in terms of the impact on the game. It's a point guard stat, to be honest. Magic was the best. We can go on, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you get the point. By the way, Magic has 5 NBA championships.
Wow.
That quote this morning at 5:45 was from Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Wow, how about that?
And he asked me, to read it on the air. He said, I'm not backing up for it. He said, I'm tired of this argument about Magic Johnson not being the best point guard in the history of the game. He is the best point guard in the history of basketball. That is from Michael Jordan.